I'm live. Hey, hi. That's better. A little light on the subject. So, this is for DH, and you know who you are, but nobody else does, so that's fine. Just leave this up for one and all to see, and for you to pay to collect as well. Um, so, um, yeah, I'm looking at things for number for you. And there's other few other things to talk about besides career stuff, though I know you were wondering more about career. So I think the first thing for me to notice is that there are, before November, there's two eclipses in October. One is at the new moon at, let's look that up more specifically, a solar eclipse October 14th at 21 Libra. And so that's the new moon. Solar eclipse would be a new moon. And so the lunar eclipse at 5 Taurus to 5 Scorpio, Sun in Scorpio, Moon in Taurus at 5 degrees, 9 minutes, Taurus and Scorpio. So, not that these are impacting you directly, which is fine, because sometimes a eclipse in that's impacting your positions specifically can be difficult. But these eclipses are for everyone, and what they show here, though, is that they are both in your fifth house. So, what this suggests is October is kind of a transformative in a good way, a push, a new awareness around what you want to be doing creatively. Now, some of this can spill into work because you have sort of a creative career situation, fortunately. But it is also goes beyond that. It's really saying fifth house emphasis for you in October has you thinking more about what I want to be doing kind of creatively, what I want to be saying creatively, what kind of propaganda do I want to be putting out there, what kind of ideas, thought forms am I creating that people are getting from my work. And so it seems like this emphasis on creativity is going to have you kind of with kind of multiple projects going on besides work. And there's also this idea with fifth house is not just creativity, but of course it is also kind of fun, partying, kind of risk taking. Part of the risk taking is maybe kind of going to the casino, but also kind of a little bit of feeling maybe stable enough now, getting into October, November, for a little emotional risk taking. Kind of it does suggest kind of some potential for kind of romance and um, something getting more serious potentially, and or at least more fun. Maybe not a big emphasis on partnering or more serious relationships presently in your chart, but like to keep your options open. So, getting into the next kind of big thing I'm noticing here for this time period is that you do have transiting Jupiter going retrograde over your progressed midheaven. Now, that's kind of I don't see that as a hugely significant point. I think your natal midheaven is much more important in Pisces than a progressed midheaven. But your progressed midheaven, we do want to mention, is it 10 degrees Taurus, 9 something. So we round up. So 10 degrees Taurus. And Jupiter's going back and forth over that in transit. And this is like kind of a boost for your career. It means you're being seen, it means you're being noticed by Jupiter, is not so much people, but systems. And it can mean people that are in control of systems or higher ups or owners or bosses or kind of that sort of idea of around Jupiter is uh, someone, people with a stronger influence, people that can help you. And what this is interesting, but Jupiter is retrograde over this point, and specifically the second week of November. I've got, yeah, it's, yeah, we'll go with that, because these points aren't so pinpointed this day, that day. So we're going to say the second week of November, transiting Jupiter is retrograde over your midheaven. But of course, if it's retrograde over your midheaven, that means Jupiter's been going back and forth over this point, encouraging and assisting, kind of encouraging career development and being noticed in a positive way. So, but what this back and forth suggests is that it initially started in the beginning of July, the very end of June, beginning of July. Jupiter was going forward in transit, crossing and progressed midheaven. And it's as though that there was some really kind of positive notice at that time in the beginning of July. But what this also suggests is that it may not have had repercussions, notice you it nothing, not like you noticed, but not a lot happened. And it is though that by Jupiter going back and forth over this point, um, it's as though somebody is going, "Oh yeah, that was really good what she did. I really like that kind of. We need that." It's as though there's a review. This idea of retrograde is like a review, and the review has you seen in a very positive light. It was a review of what happened at the end of June and beginning of July, which was the first initiatives around reinforcement of career success. And that now in mid November, it's saying a second week of November, a feeling of, oh, yeah, maybe you're being more, becoming more aware. Um, People are making you more aware of that, yes, you're appreciated. And this whole thing going back and forth is when it goes back again, uh, direct for the second time, or direct, retrograde direct. So it goes back across your progressed midheaven the third time and the last time in this cycle, um, which lasts 12 years, so the Jupiter cycle. So it's important. And it's saying that that is the third week of what I got here, February 2024. So it's good in second week of November, and it's even better, good, better, best by the third week of February 2024. It's all the same thing, but so when it goes back over it for the third time of your progressed midheaven, it's like, okay, this is the result. This is finally um, some good stuff that's coming to me in career. Okay. So that's kind of the bigger thing. Another big thing, though, and even though it's not in November, it's also important, I think, in creatively, is the sun is on your natal Neptune on, I got the 21st at the end of its presence in Scorpio, 21st of November. And but this is something that happens every year. The sun on your Neptune in the fifth, which is a big push on creative energy. Excuse me, a big push on the Neptune is the inspiration, the spiritual element, the intuitive element, the astral, knowing the connection to the collective consciousness. getting into the flow, the channeling of the creative juice that is very exciting. So it was important around the 21st to kind of have some opportunity to be private, have some opportunity to be personal, have some opportunity to be sober, to be meditating, to be say, well, I'm going to be spiritual. And it says that even if it's just kind of a um, like a revelation in a hot tub or something, it's there's some inspiration available here. And that of course, because of your birth chart where you have Neptune, Mars, Moon all in this little bunch, 10-degree bunch between late Scorpio and early Sagittarius, when this is emphasized every year through the time of the 21st of November into say December, early December, um, second or so, third, um, that happens every year, but it's saying that this year there could be this opportunity for it to even be some more inspirational, particularly and truly inspirational. And part of that too is about just some decisions I think around health and well-being and wanting to do better for yourself, not engaging in behaviors that you find, I don't like it when I do that. I don't like that part of me. It's just like it's easier now to just kind of drop that and be more concerned about and taking more responsibility for your well-being. We can put it that way. That there's also this big thing going on, which is transiting Neptune is in late Pisces now, and your birth Pisces is in late Scorpio. So when these right now, so transiting Neptune is really giving this positive kind of spiritual, intuitive influence to you now. But that's going to be much more emphasized when it's exact. Oh, we got to pause. Oh, excuse me. I'm just going to carry on. We might be slightly interrupted. Um, that is not until late April 23rd exact, but it's not. The whole couple weeks around April 23rd, 2024 is when you're really going to feel this sort of inspiration kind of beaming in. But it's starting already. Another big thing is this full moon in Sagittarius, which is, yeah, there it is, November 27th. There's a full moon, and it does hit on your Mars. So the sun is in Saggy, the moon is in Gemini. The sun's emphasizing your personal natal Mars at around 5:39, and your moon is always involved in that. So it hits home, and it's kind of an awareness around work, around where you can better put your energy. But there's kind of this combination in the sixth house about work and health. And so it really says there's around this full moon is a time to kind of look after yourself physically. And it also shows the Mars influence there. It could be a male influence around work stuff and a feeling of maybe some, Mars, it's hard to get away from the idea of sort of some anxiousness or aggression around this full moon. It just kind of says, be articulate, moon in Gemini, communicate, spell it out, deal, deal in the moment if there's any conflicts. Don't let things drag out. And all in all, it's just a full moon on your Mars. It's not life transforming, could be a bit frustrating time, but it can also be a good time to kind of uh, improve communication and kind of also a good time around sort of intention around personal health regimen or kind of making things better. Kind of. Let's get into another couple dates, and you know, the sun. You have your natal sun is in your 10th house, and um, so when that is also in November, and so it's another yearly thing, and it's right around the 13th, the 12th, 13th, and it can be a really good opportunity, kind of a time to really kind of make some headway in career. You got to speak up for yourself. That definitely around the 12th, 13th, kind of, a little bit of, hey, look at me, I'm great. Self promotion can go a long way around those dates. And I think that's what we got. There's another interesting thing around the 17th of November where transiting Venus is opposed your progressed Venus. And um, this is also an emphasis on your fourth to 10th house. And it can be, any Venus to Venus thing has you looking good. So that's another date. I know these dates. You'll have to review this and get all these dates in order because now we've jumped back to the 17th. But also a good time for self promotion and kind of sincere expressions of appreciation coming your way. So that's what we got. And I hope you gain some advantage from this.